try and
Okay. Can you hear me now, Joanna? Check, test. I think the sound should be on now. Although, isn't there usually also a blue light on this one?
It should be charged. It was all plugged in when I got
Yeah.
here, so hopefully it's not just run out.
Okay, yeah. Thumbs up. Can I get one more? Thumbs up. Cool.
Okay.
Eureka. Technology. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. So if you're already here, I'm going to be introducing a few poses where a bolster could be used. And if you don't have one at home, what I found is really good is a towel, because they're kind of like a bit more dense than maybe some of your blankets. And so you can roll up a towel. So it's up to you if you can find maybe a cushion or some kind of way to imitate a bolster if you don't have one. But it's also not totally necessary. Cool. So I have my lovely models here with me today for my in-class. We have Ms. and Birth. And we'll just get started in like a minute, 2 minutes. So if you need to grab any cushions or anything that will make your practice a little bit more comfortable, I'm just going to post a playlist. What do you mean, the clouds?
I was getting used to a blue sky.
Actually,
Clouds and now there are clouds, so I'm just like all fascinated about all the shapes.
no, actually, I know what you mean. This morning I was like, oh, weird, it's cloudy. Okay. Okay, so I've just posted some really calming, nice yin music down there. So if you'd like to listen to that, please do, or just keep it nice and quiet, or have your own music in the background, however you feel you'd like to. All right. Nice, so it's 10:31, so we'll get started. You can come to a comfortable seated position. So sitting on a cushion or a block, or however you feel you want to just tune in and center and get a little bit grounded for today's class. So finding your sits bones and just feeling into your center of gravity. So taking your awareness a little bit lower into the body. And just beginning to observe your breath. Rolling your shoulders slightly down your back so you feel a very gentle lift through your heart. And beginning today's practice just by softening the muscles around your forehead, around your eyes, around your mouth. And just trying to feel like your face is kind of receding back, so there's no expression. It's really becoming a bit more open and relaxed. And just feel like you're inviting the morning, inviting the spring, and inviting a bit of freshness into the practice. And so today I'm going to focus on just grounding, as well as some poses to support digestion. So if you've ever felt through this little bit of a quarantine time, a little sluggish, a little low energy, sometimes that's also related to digestion, and it's springtime right now, so it's a really wonderful time to pay attention, maybe detox a little, revitalize the systems of elimination and the organs of digestion. So just bring your awareness into your practice breath, extending your inhale, feeling your whole body open and change shape. And then as you exhale, again, feeling the body change shape and just noticing how the breath dissolves into space. Nice. Bringing your palms to your heart, pressing in slightly to the base of the palms so that you just widen through the collarbones and feel a lift through your chest. We'll come together as a group by setting our own individual intentions and then making the sound Om. So I invite you to plant the seed for your motivation or for your intention for today's practice. Just reminding yourself what brings you to your yoga mat, reminding yourself sort of why you're doing this. Nice. And then taking a nice deep inhale and an open mouth exhale. And then take a deep inhale to chant. Good. Deep inhale. Deep inhale. Nice. And then just let your head move towards your heart, bowing, confirming your intention for practice, and just honoring this organic beating heart and the deeper spiritual heart. Head slowly lifting up through your head and just releasing your palms down. Nice. So although in a yin practice we do most of the stuff on the ground, we're actually going to start standing and then come into a dangling pose. So you can just come to your feet and you can have your feet at least hip distance apart just to kind of give you a sense of stability and feeling grounded and rooted. Nice. Roll your shoulders down your back. Good. Just be here, feeling your feet. We'll do a little pranayama to begin the practice. So I'll encourage you to inhale for 4 counts. And exhale through the mouth for 8 counts. Good. Inhaling for 4 counts. And exhaling for 8 counts. Beautiful. And just continue like this. If it's too strenuous, then you can easily reduce. Just try to have your exhale double the inhale. Nice. Imagine or visualize your feet rooting you down and grounding you down 500 meters into the earth. And imagine the crown of your head is moving up in space, and you can feel almost like these 10 directions all around you expanding upward. Good. So one of my teachers often said yoga is really about us understanding our relationship between earth and space in this body. This practice is super, super simple, but it's a really nice way to connect with that earthy, grounded quality in the lower part of the body, while simultaneously feeling spaciousness and openness. Beautiful. For the last couple rounds of the practice, I'm going to invite you to use your hands. As you inhale, you can take your hands to your lower belly and you just feel the inhale, so the arms move up with the breath. 4 counts. And then as you exhale, you press down. It's a little bit like a Tai Chi movement. So you really slow down. And doing this little bit of somatic, slow movement is a really nice way to tap into the subtle layers of the body. Beautiful. Again, continuing with the exhale, doubling. Nice. Nice. And then you can just release your hands. Good. Relax. Again, rooting down, feeling your feet, moving into the earth below, and feeling the crown of your head connecting to space above. Beautiful. So we'll come into this first pose. You're going to come towards a dangling position. So bending your knees and then leaning forward. We'll stay in this position for a few minutes. So I will guide you in a few little variations. But the key is to not strain your hamstrings. Nice. If, for example, you practice every day and having your legs a little more straight feels best, then just stick with that. Good. Again, feeling gravity here. So it's like you're bowing the top part of the body downwards. Making any little movements that feel right, especially for your neck. So maybe moving your shoulders so the neck can extend a little more. Good. Moving your arms however they want to dangle forward. And maybe also releasing your jaw. So having there be some space between your teeth. Good. If it feels like it's working for you and you want to continue to have the exhale double the inhale, feel free to continue this practice. So energetically, the front body is more yin. It's more receptive. It's more open. And so try to feel like you're bowing this space in the front of the body a little bit inwards, allowing the back body to also surrender forwards. Good. If you want to add some movement with your arms and your shoulders, when I was doing this pose, it felt really good to take my hands to the lower back and interlace fingers, and then you can have this shoulder opener so your arms move forward. This might be totally inappropriate for some of you, but if that feels good, it kind of gives you this extra weight of gravity to allow everything again to just bow forward. Nice. Soft, smooth inhale. A nice long, deep exhale. And where's the weight in your feet? Just try to feel that. If your arms feel like they've had enough, you can easily release them. If this is feeling quite nice, then you're most welcome to stay. We'll be here just for like another 5 or 8 breaths. Good. Imagine the back of your neck releasing for the last few breaths. Almost like your brain is getting some fresh blood, some fresh prana, some circulation. Beautiful, guys. Slowly, you're going to bring your hands back down to the ground. Good. Take your feet a bit wide. So depending on how your hips are, we're going to move right towards malasana. So your hips are going to come down. So we're coming towards this squatting action. Good. For some people with the feet, it might be necessary to take your rolled towel or blanket and place it underneath your heels. Nice. And just try to feel gravity now move into the pelvis. Good. Other option here is you could always use the wall. So when I was doing this pose this morning, I also felt like I needed to release the back of my neck. And so it really felt nice to let my head and chin drop forward. And so I'm just going to invite you to move your head in any way that maybe is feeling right. And while you're moving your head, release your jaw. Good. So in respect to digestion, this is like such a great pose. It really encourages the intestines and the colon and all these lower digestive organs to be really nourished and massaged. Good. So the focus is more on the hips, the pelvis, the lower body. Good. So as you're in the yin pose, it might feel good to maintain stillness. This is definitely part of the practice. But don't stay in a position that's causing you agony and pain. So after usually a minute, there might be something that wants to be adjusted. So another option here is maybe having your arms come forward. So you're kind of releasing your head down and the back body can relax. So maybe that'll work nicely. Maybe you want to stay right where you are. Good. So you can see Ms. is kind of folding forward. Also for women, when you have your moon cycle, this is a great pose just to help encourage release and fluidity through the pelvis, through the reproductive organs. Nice, guys. Feeling gravity, feeling your breath. Feeling your roots, feeling the lower body, and this sense of earth and weight and heaviness. And it's also your sense of stability, your ground. And our legs are so powerful. I think, at least for women, they're like our strongest muscles too. So really feeling your legs here. Nice. Good. So we're slowly going to move out of this pose. If you feel like you need to straighten your legs, you can come up and go back to that dangling position or just standing up straight. If you feel like you want to just come forward and come towards a tabletop position and then move your hips from there, that's also a good option. So I just want you to decide, we all have different shapes and shapes of our bones, and we need different things. So just try to move out of the pose in a way that really is intuitively right for you. Good. So if you're in this standing version like Ms., then you kind of want to just move the hips, open your hamstrings. If you're in the table version, you're kind of moving cat-cow, you're rolling in circles with your hips. Nice, guys. Cool. So whenever you feel ready, we will come towards table position. So making any last little adjustments, feeling out to any areas that need some attention. Good. And then if you haven't done at least like 3 rounds of cat-cow, then go for 3 rounds of cat-cow where you're really focusing on this natural elegance of your spinal curves. Good. Soft, smooth inhale, feeling the space between each vertebrae maybe. And exhale, again, feeling space open in the upper back. Beautiful. Such a simple movement, but it's so satisfying. Nice. Coming towards a neutral spine. So just kind of having your spine naturally elongated. And this pose is more for digestion, and we won't stay here as long. Coming to thread the needle. So you're going to reach your right arm high up and open, and then sweep your arm underneath your opposite, taking your shoulder to the ground, taking your ear to the ground. Good. That opposite hand can either reach forward, or as you can see the girls in the back, they're reaching their arms back. Beautiful. Nice. So this is a great twisting action to ignite a little fire for your digestive system. And it's also a sweet release through the upper back. Good. So in the energetic body, the center space connected to fire is also very much connected to our power of digestion. And the yogis found that there was this almost like intelligence in this space in the center of the body. This fire, how I've always felt it, that can really burn our conceptual hang-ups and create an awareness that's much more vast and not really restricted to ordinary concepts. So this fire in the belly is where I want you to focus your exhale. So as you exhale, it's almost like the corners of your navel move in and back. So you really gently hollow out the inner belly. Again, focusing on the exhale, feeling that space through the center of the body. And fire, the element of fire is very much about transformation. Good. So it's how we transform literally our food into our elements. So it's very, very fundamental for our life, really. Nice, guys. You're going to slowly come back up to center. Just taking your time, finding your way back to a tabletop position. Good. And just pausing there. Inhale deeply, reaching up through the left arm, opening. And exhaling, sweeping under, taking your shoulder to the ground, taking your ear to the ground. Okay, so that opposite arm is finding support wherever you feel you need it, maybe in front, or maybe wrapping it around the side. Nice. So the other really incredible insight that modern science has brought to this space in the belly is something called the enteric nervous system. So basically, science has proven that we have this gut instinct in our belly, that we have this area in our belly that has more neurotransmitters than our whole spinal column. So some would say it's the brain in the belly. And breathing into that space and just trying to maybe connect with how your digestive fire, your center, this area through like the navel space, how that feels today. Soft, smooth inhale, a nice long, deep exhale, maybe extending your exhale. Good. So the more you slow down that exhale and that breath, you're actually stimulating your nervous system to switch to a little bit more of the parasympathetic side, which is that rest and digest. So we really want that, especially in this kind of practice, calming the nerves, calming the body. Beautiful, guys. Slowly again coming back towards center. Taking your time. Good. And I'm going to invite you again to move through cat-cow here, creating an awareness of the spinal column and also that space in the belly. So feeling how you can expand and open, maybe stretch even to the diaphragm. And exhale, let everything move inwards. Good. If you've ever tried to slow this movement down, like really slowly, it's quite a nice experiment to get that inner attention moving towards the central space in the body. Nice. And finishing off your last round of cat-cow here. Good. And we'll come down onto the belly. So we'll move towards a gentle back bend and also a bit of a stretch through the whole front side of the body. Good. So coming to set up for a sphinx, lying down on your belly, and then bringing your elbows maybe under your shoulders, maybe a bit in front. It really depends on your body type. Good. And then from here, if you want to take your feet wider, that might feel really good. So adjusting your legs to support the lower back. And then you're gently isometrically, so not moving your arms, but you're kind of drawing them back energetically as you lift the chest. Nice. Depending on how your neck feels this morning, keeping it neutral might be the best option here. If right away you feel maybe some tension, you're most welcome to move your head to release it, chin to chest. Otherwise, just gazing straight ahead. Eyes can be open or closed. Good. Feeling perhaps the diaphragm here. So acknowledging the whole torso as this space that's expanding and opening. And again, exhaling, corners of the navel draw in and gently move back. So this power to digest experience. So in Ayurveda, they talk about digestion in like our literal ability to digest food, but then also our ability to digest experience and sensory information. And one of the easiest ways to tap into this process is simply breathing nice and deeply. Good. So here with the chest opening, you can also feel the breath move through the whole front body, feeling your heart lift slightly. And just really acknowledging this inner space in the body and nourishing it with each cycle of breath. Okay, and maybe releasing your jaw, releasing the corners of the eyes, and releasing any tension that you might feel in your throat. And so noticing the back bend here, also remembering not to overdo things. You don't need to have this extreme sensation for the pose to have a really deep effect, especially with back bends. So that low back area, kind of underneath the rib cage, sort of in that area that you're getting a bit of compression right now is around the area where your kidneys are. And so the kidneys also are this really powerhouse of life force energy. They're filtering blood every moment. So they're really working so hard. In Chinese medicine, the kidneys are really the starting point for our vitality. So maybe even taking your awareness into the kidneys and just acknowledging that they're there and trying to use this pose as a support for vitality and strength in your kidneys. And so all these organs are also energetically relevant to our being and how we digest life. So feeling what comes up. Maybe it's just this sense of these things, these organs. Maybe something else comes up. Just exploring what is this relationship with the kidneys. So if you feel like you want to move into anything deeper here, you're welcome to maybe even bend your knees behind you so you can stretch your thighs and also straighten your arms. So this could be quite intense wherever it feels right. And if your head and your neck feel like they need to move, then also you can invite maybe chin to chest. And then slowly taking your gaze up. So you're creating this nice articulation of the cervical spine, this top part of the spine. And again, if there's any movement you feel like you need to do specifically for your body with your neck, then feel free to do that. Nice. Good. We'll be here just a few more long, deep breaths. Again, not overdoing it. Compressing the kidneys too much is not going to be, effective in any way. So really nourishing, slow, deep kind of practice. Beautiful. Slowly coming to exit the pose and allowing yourself just to come onto your belly and relax there. If you feel like you need a release in the lower back, you can always bend your knees and let your legs windshield a bit. So kind of side to side. Good. And now with the whole body lying down, again, just try to sense the navel area, this area of heat, fire, instinct. Just try to sense how that feels. And letting the back body maybe open a bit, releasing any tension through the trapezius muscles, through the upper back, and feeling like your shoulder blades are just melting a bit down to the side. Nice, guys. Good. And whenever you're ready, you're going to come up from your belly and come back towards a tabletop position. Good. So as a counter pose here, I'll invite you to come towards a downward dog, a bit more active, a bit more energy, so that you can lengthen the whole spine and get a bit of strength coming into the lower back. Good. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Good. Nice. Maybe moving your hips in some kind of way that feels right for you. Good. Wonderful. So the next pose is going to be either you call it swan in like a yin practice or pigeon pose. So if you have your towel or some kind of cushion nearby, you might need that to support your hip. If you want to come into this pose a little more actively, you can lift your right leg straight up and give it a nice deep stretch back. Maybe even you want to open your knee and stack your hips, kind of opening everything up, actively engaging. Good. And then coming towards your pigeon pose, you're going to bring your right knee up towards your right wrist. Good. So you can see my beautiful models back. Good. So that right hip, maybe you need to prop it up with something. I would recommend that. Good. And then just begin, first lift the chest up. Just take a nice deep breath. Good. Stretching the front heart up. Nice. And then slowly begin to walk forward. If you have a bolster, you're more than welcome to have yourself propped up on your bolster. Do either of you guys want a bolster in front of you? No? Okay. Good. Nice. The caution you take in this pose is with the knees. So if you're ever feeling any kind of like an electric-y or shooting pain, it's always advised to avoid any discomfort in your knees just because you don't want to have to deal with injury. You can always do this pose on your back. So you just lie on your back and you do it with a really grounded, stable foundation and with less pressure on your knees. Nice. Nice. This is one of my favorite poses. So it's a nice way to concentrate your attention into the pelvis. It's so earthy, grounded space in our body is the legs. And just trying to allow your legs to relax and feel the weight of the upper body give you a nice stimulating opening through that outer leg and through the front of maybe your left thigh. If you want to return to the breath we started with at the beginning of the class by extending your exhale so that it's double, I invite you to do that. It's a nice way to also focus on the navel and really gently drawing the navel back so you can create this habit of really emptying completely. So this is good for digestion. This is good for releasing held habits in the belly, in the body. Nice, long, deep breath. Feeling into that space at the end of the exhale. And maybe connecting with an idea of your earth, your roots. This whole pandemic time has been, for me, a big reflection period on where do I want to be rooted, like literally in the earth, and how important it is to develop this earthy relationship. And it was also just Earth Day, it's spring, and it feels like the pandemic itself has really brought our global attention to the earth and what it is the earth needs right now. And it does feel like the earth needed a pause. The earth needed space. And so just trying to feel that connection to our own inner cycles of pause and space, and maybe these bigger cycles of earth and space, and so the elements and how they manifest. Nice, guys. So you're going to take your last couple of deep breaths. And then whenever you feel ready to move, again, there's no rush here. Staying in one position for a couple minutes makes you feel like much stiffer than maybe you are. So going nice and slowly lifting the chest. And then however it is easiest for you to move out of this, maybe it's just kind of shifting the hips up to a table. Or maybe there's the strength to shift the hips up and back all the way to a downward facing dog. Nice. Any movements that feel perfect for your hips, for your body, just try to feel into what it is you need. Okay. Maybe circling that hip like you can see Ms. doing. Beautiful. Nice. So whenever you feel stretched out and ready to move over to the other side, The option again, if you like a little bit more strengthening lift with the left leg, you can lift up. You might even want to bend the knee and open the hips, knowing we're coming to this hip opener. Good. And then extending your leg back, slowly drawing your knee up towards your left wrist. Lifting the chest up, just taking a bit of a strengthening, powerful, open movement, readjusting your legs, maybe adding a prop underneath the hip, or maybe just shifting your hips. Great. And then whenever you guys are ready, you're going to come forward. You don't need to come all the way to the ground. You can stay up higher. If you have a bolster, if you have some kind of support that feels like it would be suited to rest on, then that's really great too. Nice. Long, deep breath. Good. Feeling into the space. First in the outer hips, maybe the muscles and the bones, taking a bit of prana, this life force energy, into the space in the hips. And then maybe taking your awareness a little bit further inward to this lower digestive organs in the pelvis, the colon, the intestines. And breathing here. Good. So another really, really amazing fact about your gut and this space in the body is that almost 90% of our hormone serotonin, which is sort of like this messenger in the body that makes us feel like, yeah, I feel good. This is produced in the gut. This is produced in the belly. This is produced down low in the body. And so having this healthy circulation, healthy digestion, healthy space in the lower body is vital for the entire being. So feeling towards that space, nourishing the digestive tract in the low body, feeling the hips and the legs. Feeling grounded and feeling earthy, heavy. Just a stable space underneath you. Notice if there's any areas in the upper body that might contract. It's often the case when we're really trying to work with one part of the body, we tighten up in the other areas. So consciously maybe scan from the head down and just notice if there's any areas that are tight and try to take a bit of softness, awareness, and use your exhale to dissolve any tension. Last few cycles of breath here. Maybe extending the exhale. Releasing any inner toxins with the breath. And just trying to create that habit of fully and completely exhaling. So really take it as far as you can so that there's the opportunity to be refilled, to become full. Good. Slowly, guys, you can think about coming up. Maybe even as you start to lift up, you notice how it might feel totally different from one side to the other. Good. And then taking your time to again press either into your palms to lift either to a downward dog if that feels available, or just to a table position. Nice. Be here for a few more moments, moving your hips and moving your legs however it feels right for you, and becoming a bit active. So it's nice to do a few engaging, active poses between the yin poses just to create that balance in your practice. And then moving as you wish. Good. So bending your knees is nice, maybe even shifting forward. Cool. Whenever you feel like you've stretched out and you're ready to move on, we will be coming down onto the back next. So you can walk your feet forward, you can sit down and then lie down. So coming onto your back. Good. Nice. So just take a moment on your back, roll your shoulders back down, open your arms to the side, and just be here. Good. Again, feeling rooted, grounded, simultaneously connecting to this space above. Nice. So we'll finish with some twists, and I'm going to instruct one version, and then you can feel free to adjust your twist. So one version, which is quite nice, is crossing the right leg over the left. So you come into like a twisted leg version. So you cross your legs over, and then you're twisting over to the right. Good. If this feels too intense for you, you can always keep your knees together and just twist, or you can extend one knee, bend the opposite, and you have like a one knee down twist. Good. If you have any cushion or support, you can easily support that top leg so the pose is more comfortable. And then your arms are going to be however it feels good for you. Sometimes reaching like your arm in the opposite direction away from your bent knees can create this nice lengthening action and opening action through your chest. But if that's too much, then just, you don't need to do that. So you're kind of finding this position with your arms that feels best for your upper back and your neck. Good. And definitely twists are my go-to to increase digestive fire and just to feel like you're getting things moving along. It's also a nice sensation through the legs. Relax your face here. So it's the last pose. So try to encourage the exhale to lengthen. So just like we started at the beginning of the class, it's a nice way to guide yourself towards deep relaxation. last couple rounds of breath here. Sensing your torso, the mid-body, and gently drawing the corners of the navel back and in as you feel this complete exhale on this side. Nice. Slowly going to come up to center. Good. And change the crossing of the legs. Good. And maybe shifting your hips over and then taking your knees down to the side. Good. So you can see how Ms. has a block supporting her knee. That's a really nice prop. If you don't have a block, maybe just piling or rolling your blanket or a cushion. All right. Letting the back body and the skin across the back feel like it's softening downwards, especially around the trapezius, the upper back. And feeling that twisted area through the mid-body in the front. So one of the other reasons I really love twists, any stress or worries or anxiety, they often, like really viscerally, tangibly, you really feel knots in your stomach or butterflies. There's this real sense of something churning. And so often doing these long held deep twists, it's almost like you're untying any built up knots of anxiety or tension that build up in this area. So try to feel like you're releasing a little bit deeper. Last pose here. Feeling this energetic space in your legs, release and relax a little more. And again, slowly going to make your way back towards center. So whenever you feel ready to move, gently beginning to lift up through your legs. Coming back. Good. Finding the center of your mat. Good. So we're heading towards Shavasana. If you feel like there's any last movement you want to include, please feel free to do that. If you feel ready to just relax back, then you can set yourself up for relaxation. Good. So a bridge pose like Ms. is doing is also quite nice for the lower back, just to give your sacrum a bit of stability and strength. Of bringing everything together in the pelvis. And if you need a blanket, anything to support comfort in this pose, please grab that. And we'll just be here for a couple minutes. Maybe adjusting your head or your neck, feeling like you're in this perfect place to let go and really come into Shavasana, the corpse pose. Good. So traditionally, this contemplation of the corpse was actually an invitation to live more fully. So although it sounds maybe a little obscure to really imagine yourself as a corpse and really think about one breath being your last breath, it's actually a fantastic and powerful contemplation to really appreciate each breath we have. So for the next few moments, just imagine your body becoming heavy. And imagine your exhale moving out into space. And any physical tension dissolves with the corpse and it moves down. And you become space. And just be here with every exhale, releasing stress. With every exhale, releasing any mental or emotional tightness. And just feeling this spaciousness and this openness. And begin to invite a bit more awareness to your inhale. As you breathe in, feel life entering and opening the lungs, and just feel your torso expand a little bit with each cycle of breath. Focusing more on your inhale as a way to just wake up the senses, wake up the body. And then make a few bigger movements in your hands or in your feet, maybe even stretching your arms over your head. And then you can hug your knees to your chest, give your knees a little bit of a squeeze. And then whenever you're ready, just rolling to either side. Maybe pausing on your side. And then finding your way to a comfortable seated position. Nice. And then just bringing your hands to the heart. We'll finish by dedicating the practice however it feels right for you. Feeling a little bit more balance, more openness, more alignment within our own skin is really a great offering to people in our lives, our community, and just the earth in general. Nice, and thank you for joining, and thank you to my beautiful yogis. And have a really wonderful weekend, and happy spring.